Have you ever wondered what it feels like to have a billionaire father? Trust me, it is nothing like the fairy tale people imagine. My father is one of the most powerful real estate moguls in New York City. In his mind, he does not just own buildings, he owns people, he owns decisions, he owns futures. And more than anything, he believes money makes him untouchable. He had my entire life planned before I could even walk. Which schools I would attend, which friends I was allowed to have, which career I would follow, even which man I would marry. When I was 16, he looked me in the eye and said, "Love is a luxury for people without options. You are an Ashford. You marry for strategy." 6 months ago, I broke every rule he had ever made for me. I fell in love with a man he saw as completely beneath us. A mechanic from Queens, with oil on his hands and no famous family name behind him. And then, at my own wedding, in front of 300 guests, my father stood up and publicly cut me out of the family. But there was something he did not know. That same man he looked down on was about to become the biggest regret of his life. Hey everyone, my name is Fiona, and I am 28 years old. If you are watching this, make sure to subscribe, and tell me where you are watching from. Drop your location and local time in the comments. I rate every single one. Now let me take you back 8 months, to the night I told my father I was marrying a man he had never met. The Ashford penthouse on the Upper East Side had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park, as if the entire city existed just for us. In a way, my father truly believed it did. That Thursday evening, we were seated around a 12-person walnut dining table imported from Italy, a detail my mother loved to mention at every dinner party. The Hermes Place settings shone beneath the chandelier. A bottle of 2010 Chateau Margaux rested on the sideboard, probably worth more than most people paid in rent for a month. My father, Richard Ashford, sat at the head of the table. His Patek Philippe caught the light every time he raised his wine glass. At 58, he had the kind of presence that made people lower their voices when he entered a room. He had a real estate empire, powerful connections, and the last name that could open almost any door in Manhattan. "I have arranged a meeting for you this Saturday," he said, without looking up from his filet mignon. "Harrison Wells III, his father and I are finalizing a meeting. It would be useful for the two of you to get acquainted." I set down my fork. "I can't make it on Saturday." For the first time that evening, he looked at me. "There is someone I want you to meet," I continued, while my heart pounded so loudly I could almost hear it. "Someone I have been seeing for 6 months. His name is James, and I—" "Who?" my father interrupted, his voice cold and controlled. "What family? Wells? Montgomery? Please do not tell me he is one of the Hartley boys. You do not know him." The silence that followed felt heavy enough to fill the entire room. "You have been seeing someone for 6 months, he said slowly, "and I have not vetted him. I have not approved him." "I do not need your approval to date someone, Dad." He leaned back in his chair, his jaw tightening. "In this family, Fiona, love is a luxury. Marriage is strategy. Who is this person who thought he could enter my daughter's life without coming through me first?" I met James 6 months earlier on a Tuesday afternoon I was never supposed to have free. I had just escaped a difficult board meeting where my father had criticized my marketing proposal in front of the entire executive team. Adequate, he had called it. Acceptable for someone still learning. I was 27 years old with an MBA from Columbia, but in his eyes I was still a child playing dress-up in the family business. I ended up in a small coffee shop in Brooklyn, the kind with mismatched wooden chairs, a chalkboard menu, and not a single person who cared about the Ashford name. I ordered a black coffee, sat in the corner, and tried to remember how to breathe. "Rough day?" I looked up. He was tall, maybe 6'2", with warm brown eyes and hands that looked like they belonged to someone who actually worked for a living. He wore a faded flannel shirt with oil stains on the sleeves, and his smile was easy, honest, and completely unpolished. "Is it that obvious?" I asked. "You have been stirring that coffee for 10 minutes and have not taken a single sip." He sat across from me without being invited, and somehow I did not mind. We talked for 3 hours. He told me he was a mechanic and owned a small auto repair shop in Queens. He asked about my day, my interests, and my dreams. Not once did he ask about my family, my last name, or what my father did. Later, as he walked me to the subway, he said, "I do not care what your last name is. I just want to know what makes you laugh." No one had ever said anything like that to me before. James always paid in cash. He carried thick folded bills in an old leather wallet. He never wanted to go anywhere too fancy, choosing diners and small neighborhood restaurants where the food was good, and no one was trying to impress anyone. I thought he was simply careful with money. I had no idea what he was really keeping from me. My father did not wait long. 3 days after I mentioned James's name, I was summoned to his office at Ashford Properties headquarters. His corner suite on the 42nd floor was designed to make people feel small. There was a $15 million Basquiat on the wall, a sweeping view of the financial district, and the kind of silence that made every step sound too loud. On his desk sat a manila folder. "James Carter," my father read aloud, flipping through the pages. "Age 32. Owns a one-bedroom apartment in Queens. Assessed value under $400,000. Operates a small automotive repair shop, Carter's Custom Garage, with estimated annual revenue under $200,000. No significant assets. No family connections worth mentioning. No major investments beyond a basic retirement account." He closed the folder and looked at me with a mix of pity and judgment. "This is who you have chosen. A mechanic from Queens? He is a good man. Good men do not build empires, Fiona. Good men get pushed aside by them." He stood and walked toward the window. "I hired the best private investigator in the city to look into him. James Carter. Do you know what he found?" I said nothing. "Nothing," my father continued. "No debts, no scandals, no hidden problems, just nothing. A completely ordinary man." "Maybe ordinary is exactly what I want." He turned back to me, his eyes cold. "You are an Ashford. You do not get to be ordinary." "He does not want anything from me, Dad. He does not care about the money, or the name, or any of it. That is what you cannot understand." My father let out a short, bitter laugh. "Everyone wants something. The only question is when they finally show it." He slid the folder across the desk. "End this now, before you embarrass this family any further." I left the folder exactly where it was and walked out without saying another word. His investigator had found nothing suspicious because James had been careful. Very careful. James proposed on a Sunday morning. We were in his Queens apartment, small but spotless, filled with morning light pouring through windows he had cleaned himself. He made me pancakes that morning, slightly burned around the edges, and slid a small velvet box across the kitchen counter. Inside was a ring. Simple. Elegant, a diamond on a gold band catching the morning light like a tiny star. "I know I am not what your family expected," he said quietly. "I know I cannot offer you penthouses or private jets, but I can offer you this. I will never try to control you. I will never make you feel small, and I will spend every day trying to make you happy." I said yes before he even finished speaking. That night, I called my mother. 2 months, I told her. "We are getting married in 2 months. I wanted you to hear it from me first." The silence on the other end lasted so long, I thought she had ended the call. "You are breaking my heart, Fiona," she said at last, her voice cracking with the kind of pain she had practiced for years. "Do you have any idea what this will do to your father, to our reputation? I am getting married, Mom, to someone I love." "Love?" She said the word like it offended her. "Do you think love pays for the life you are used to? Do you think love protects your position in this world?" An hour later, my brother Derek texted me. "Heard you're marrying some struggling mechanic. Bold choice, sis. Can't wait to see you adjusting to life in Queens." I did not respond. My father's call came last. His voice was cold and calm. "You want a wedding? Fine, I will give you a wedding." Then he paused. "One you will remember for the rest of your life." I should have understood the warning hidden in his words, but I was too happy to notice what he was preparing behind the scenes. The first move came at Kleinfeld Bridal. I had scheduled an appointment to try on wedding dresses. Nothing extravagant by Ashford standards, just a classic Vera Wang dress I had admired for months. The consultant, a woman who had helped my mother for years, greeted me with a stiff smile. "I am so sorry, Miss Ashford, but there seems to be an issue with your account." My credit card declined, then the backup card, then the emergency card my mother had given me for special occasions. I called the bank fitting room floor, surrounded by layers of tulle and silk I suddenly could not afford. "I apologize, Miss Ashford," the representative said, "but your accounts have been deactivated. The primary account holder removed your authorized user status yesterday." The primary account holder. My father. I sat there in my slip, staring at my phone as the truth settled over me. He had not just warned me, he had started cutting me off. James found me an hour later, still sitting in the fitting room. I had texted him through tears I refused to let fall in public. "Let me help," he said, reaching for his wallet. "No." My pride made the word come out sharper than I intended. "I cannot. I need to figure this out myself." But he pulled out a stack of cash anyway. $100 bills, at least $2,000, held together with a simple rubber band. More money than any ordinary mechanic should have been carrying so casually. "I want to," he said gently. "Let me." I looked at that stack of bills, too thick and too easy in his hand, and for a second, something stirred in the back of my mind. But I was too overwhelmed to question it. For the first time in 28 years, I stood in a store where I could not afford what I wanted. And I realized something that scared me more than I wanted to admit. Without my father's money, I did not know who I was. But I was about to find out. The social fallout came quickly and precisely. Within a week, my phone went quiet. Friends I had known since prep school suddenly had scheduling conflicts. Lunch plans were canceled. Group chats went silent. Then came the messages. Always polite, always apologetic, always from people too afraid to say the truth directly. "So sorry, babe, but my mom says we should not be seen together right now. You know how business works." "So, hey Fee, this is awkward, but my dad does a lot of business with Ashford Properties, and you understand, right? Nothing personal, but I cannot risk my family's relationship with yours. Good luck, though." 28 years of friendships, and every single one of them had a price I was no longer worth paying. At Ashford Properties, where I had worked in marketing for 3 years, my colleagues stopped meeting my eyes. The whispers followed me through every hallway. The corner office I had earned was suddenly needed for restructuring. Then HR's email arrived on a Friday afternoon. "Your position is currently being evaluated. Please refrain from client-facing activities until further notice." They did not fire me. They simply made sure I understood that I no longer mattered there. Through all of it, one person kept reaching out, a lawyer named Margaret Smith. She had been my grandmother's attorney before Grandma passed away 2 years earlier. "Miss Ashford," her voicemail said, "there is a matter regarding your grandmother's estate that requires your attention. Please call me at your earliest convenience." I saved the message, but I did not call her back. I was too busy trying to stay above water to notice the help being offered to me. That night I opened Instagram and saw Derek at a rooftop party with all my former friends. My mother had commented beneath the photo, "So proud of my son. Family is everything." The message was clear. I was no longer part of that family. James found us an apartment in Brooklyn. It was nothing like the penthouse where I had grown up. There was no doorman, no marble floors, no sweeping view of Central Park. Just a bright 2-bedroom apartment in a brownstone with creaky hardwood floors and a tiny balcony overlooking a community garden. "It is not much," he said, watching my face as I walked through the empty rooms. "But it is ours, no one else's." I started to cry, not because I was disappointed, because I was relieved. Here, my father's shadow could not reach me. Here, I could finally breathe. James held me while I cried out years of pressure I had not even realized I was carrying. He did not promise to fix everything. He did not try to rescue me from my problems. He just stayed. For the next few weeks, I sent my resume to every marketing firm in the city. The rejections came fast. Too fast. Somehow, everywhere I applied already seemed to know about the Ashford situation. Doors closed before I even had the chance to knock. "I will figure something out," I told James over dinner. Takeout containers were spread across our second-hand kitchen table. "I have to do this myself," I said. James nodded. "I know," he replied, "but I am here whenever you need me." That night, I woke up at 2 in the morning and found his side of the bed empty. Through the slightly open bedroom door, I saw him in the living room, his phone pressed to his ear, speaking in a low, urgent voice. "The quarterly projections need to be adjusted before the board meeting. No, do not send it to Williams. I will handle the technical review myself." I must have made a sound, because he turned, saw me, and quickly said, "I will call you back." Then he ended the call and gave me a small smile. "Work stuff," he said. "Go back to sleep." I nodded and returned to bed, but I stayed awake for hours. Because since when did mechanics have board meetings? 1 week before the wedding, my father appeared at our apartment. I had not seen him since the day I walked out of his office. Now he stood in our Brooklyn doorway, wearing a Tom Ford suit that looked completely out of place in our modest building. His eyes moved around our small living room as if the furniture itself had offended him. "I am here to make you an offer," he said, without even greeting me. James stood beside me, silent and watchful. My father pulled out a checkbook. $5 million, he said. "Cancel the wedding. Come home. We will pretend this little rebellion never happened." I stared at the blank check in his hand. $5 million. More money than I could probably earn on my own in a lifetime. Enough to disappear, start over, and never worry about anything again. "No." My father's expression barely changed. $10 million, he said, his pen hovering over the check. "Final offer." "I am not for sale, Dad." His face tightened. "Then you are making a terrible mistake. And when this marriage falls apart, because it will, do not come crawling back to me. You will have nothing. No inheritance, no trust fund, no company shares, no Ashford name to protect you." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You will be nobody, just like him." He gestured toward James with open contempt. James had not said a word. He stood with his hands relaxed at his sides, but there was something in his eyes I had never seen before. A cold, steady calm. "Mr. Ashford," James said quietly, "I think you should leave." My father laughed. "Oh, the mechanic finally speaks." Then he looked James up and down. "Enjoy this while it lasts. When the excitement fades and she realizes what she gave up for you, she will blame you for all of it." "I do not think she will," James said. For a second, something passed between them, a look I could not understand. My father's smirk faded for just a moment. Then he turned and walked out without another word. "He is going to make the wedding impossible," I whispered. James took my hand. "Let him try." Our wedding was supposed to be small. James and I had planned an intimate ceremony at a restaurant in Brooklyn. 50 guests. A few former colleagues from my marketing days who had stayed loyal, and a handful of James's friends from the garage. Simple, meaningful, ours. But when we arrived, 250 extra guests were already seated. They filled every corner of the restaurant and spilled out onto the patio. Women in Chanel and Oscar de la Renta, men in custom suits worth more than our monthly rent. It was my father's world. Uninvited, unapologetic. My mother sat in the front row, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief as if she were the one being hurt. Derek sat beside her, scrolling through his phone, looking bored. And there, at the center of it all, stood my father in a 3-piece Brioni suit, holding a glass of champagne and smiling like he owned the place, because in every way that mattered to him, he did. "Surprise, sweetheart." He kissed my cheek before I could move away. "You did not think I would miss my only daughter's wedding, did you?" "What is this?" I asked. "What did you do?" "I promised you a wedding you would remember." His smile did not reach his eyes. "Consider this my gift." I looked around at the sea of faces. Manhattan's elite, my father's business partners, society columnists holding their phones, ready to capture every second. And then I understood. He had turned our private celebration into a spectacle, a stage, and he was planning to be the main event. James squeezed my hand. "We can leave right now," he said. "Say the word." I looked at the guests, at my father's satisfied smile, at the altar James and I had chosen together. "No." I straightened my shoulders. "We are getting married today. Whatever he is planning, we face it together." I had no idea how far he was willing to go. My father waited until the ceremony was complete. James and I exchanged our vows. His were simple and sincere. Mine trembled with emotion. The officiant pronounced us married, and for one perfect moment, even with all the chaos my father had created around us, I was happy. Then a glass began to ring. Richard Ashford rose from his seat, a glass of Dom Perignon in his hand, and the room went silent. 300 guests turned to watch him. "A toast," he announced, his voice carrying across the restaurant, "to my daughter and her husband." The pause before the word husband was filled with contempt. "I built everything I have from nothing," he continued, slowly walking toward the center of the room. "Every dollar, every deal, every opportunity, all earned through sacrifice and discipline, and I always dreamed that one day my daughter would marry someone worthy of that legacy." He stopped in front of our table and looked down at James as if he were something unworthy of being there. Instead, she chose this, a mechanic from Queens, a man with no name, no fortune, and nothing to offer her except rough hands and empty promises. A wave of shocked whispers moved through the crowd. Someone let out a nervous laugh. I saw phones rising. People were recording. "So I am here to make an announcement," my father said, his voice turning hard. "From this moment forward, Fiona Ashford is no longer my daughter. She is removed from my will, separated from her trust fund, and stripped of any claim to Ashford properties." He turned toward the crowd, spreading his arms as if he were delivering a lesson to the room. "Let this be a reminder. When you choose struggle over family, you receive exactly what you asked for." He finished his champagne, placed the glass on our table, and smiled at me. "Congratulations, sweetheart. You finally got everything you wanted." The silence that followed felt endless. James did not flinch. He slowly stood from his chair and straightened his tie. It was simple navy blue, nothing designer, nothing flashy. Then he faced my father with an expression I had never seen from him before. Calm, controlled, almost amused. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Ashford," James said, his voice steady and clear. "And thank you for your blessing." My father let out a sharp laugh. "Blessing? I just told you that you are getting nothing." "I heard you." James stepped forward until he and my father were standing face to face. "And I want you to understand something. We do not need it." "You do not need it?" Richard laughed, sharp and mocking. "You own a garage worth less than my watch. You live in a tiny apartment. What exactly do you think you can offer my daughter?" James smiled. Not loudly, not proudly, just a small private smile that sent a chill through me. And for the first time that day, through my father too. "Something more important than money, Mr. Ashford," James said. "I have heard." Somewhere in the crowd, an older man stood. He had silver hair, a distinguished presence, and wore the kind of suit that did not need a logo to prove it was expensive. He watched the exchange with sharp eyes and the faintest hint of a smile. I had noticed him earlier among James's guests, but I had never thought to ask who he was. My father glanced at the man, then back at James, and for just a moment, something flickered across his face. Uncertainty, maybe even the feeling that he had missed something important. "Enjoy your new life," my father said coldly. "When she gets tired of struggling, when she realizes what she gave up, and she will, do not say I did not warn you. Real wealth is not measured in bank accounts, Mr. Ashford." James lowered his voice. "So only those closest to us will see. But you will understand that someday." My father laughed, but this time, the sound felt empty. He had no idea how true those words would become. My father had finished his performance. Now it was my turn, as a judge's man turned to face 300 people who had spotted the program. The socialites and their designer gowns, the businessmen silently calculating the downfall, the society reporters already preparing their headlines. They were all waiting for tears, for apologies, for surrender. They did not know me at all. My father believes money is everything. My voice carrying across the sudden silence. He believes love is a transaction, family is a business arrangement, and people are either useful or invisible. I looked at my mother, who could not meet my eyes. At Derek, still scrolling through his phone. At the crowd of strangers who had come to watch my most personal moment, like it was entertainment. I used to believe that too. I spent 28 years trying to become valuable in his eyes. The right school, the right degree, the right clothes, the right smile. I took a breath. And do you know what I got? Adequate. Acceptable. Never enough. My father's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Today I chose something different. I chose to be loved for who I am, not for what I am worth. I squeezed James's hand. And if that cost me everything I was supposed to inherit, then maybe it was never really mine in the first place. I turned back to genuinely moved. If anyone came here to watch something sad, I am sorry to disappoint you. This is still a celebration. If you want to leave, the door is right there. Then I smiled. But if you want to stay and actually celebrate with us, welcome to our wedding. About 30 people gathered their things and left, but nearly 270 stayed, including some of my father's own guests. He had not expected that. My father walked out with my mother and dad following behind him. The door had barely closed before the atmosphere changed. It felt like a storm had finally passed, and suddenly the whole room could breathe again. Someone has the power. Not awkwardly, genuinely. During the pause was the DJ, who had been frozen in shock, finally started the music again, and just like that, my wedding became ours. The cake came from a local bakery in Brooklyn. 3 tiers of vanilla buttercream that tasted better than any $5,000 designer cake you had ever seen at a society wedding. James and I put together, both laughing when frosting ended up on his nose. Any regrets? He asked later, as we swayed together on the dance floor, my head resting against his chest. Not one. Even after all of that? I pulled back and looked at him. This man who had stood beside me while my father tried to break my spirit. This man who had never raised his voice, never lost control, and never let go of my hand. Especially after all of that. I touched his face. Did not even flinch. Something shifted behind his eyes. A shadow. A secret. I had faced worse than my father. What does that mean? Instead of answering, he kissed my forehead. Someday I will tell you everything. I promise. The night ended with dancing, laughter, and the lightness I had not felt in years. Our guests, the real ones, the ones who stayed, surrounded us with genuine loneliness. But as James held me close during the final dance, I could not ignore the feeling that there was still something he was not telling me. The mysterious older man had congratulated me with a knowing handshake before leaving. The late night phone calls, the talk about wedding plans. Whoever my husband really was, I had a feeling I had only seen the surface. The real story had not been told. Now, before I continue, I want to pause for a moment and speak to you later. If you have ever felt like your family did not see your true value as I read every single one, and I truly want to hear your story. Hit the like button if you think I made the right choice by standing up for myself, and if you have not subscribed yet, trust me, you will want to hear what happens next, because the worst, you will not see it coming. Let me continue. The wedding period lasted about 6 weeks. Not a romance. James and I were happy as ever, learning how to build a real life together in my broken apartment. What ended was my hope of finding work. I had applied to 43 marketing positions across the city, entry-level, mid-level, anything that could use my MBA and 3 years of experience. Every single application came back rejected, most of them without even an interview. Word traveled fast in Manhattan. The Ashford name, which had once opened doors for me, now made those doors close before I could reach them. Nobody wanted to risk upsetting Richard Ashford by hiring the daughter he had cut off. Maybe I should look outside the city, I said, staring at my laptop screen. Another rejection email, another closed door. James stood quietly by the window. Or maybe he should not work for someone else. I looked at him. I cannot exactly start my own company right now. I have maybe $2,000 to my name. Sometimes that is enough. I let out a little laugh. And that worked. He did not answer. His face was calm. Suddenly, as I began to realize with far more than I had once. Our savings started to increase. I insisted on making my way. Suddenly, I needed to prove I was not just being taken care of. James never complained. He never pressured me. And he never offered to simply handle everything, even though part of me wondered if he somehow could. James respected my pride, even when it made life harder for both of us. But at 3 in the morning, when the apartment was silent and I could not sleep, the doubt always found me. What if my father had been right? What if I really could not survive without the Ashford name? What if I had given up everything for a man who was only beginning to understand? One night, James wrote me on his phone. Silent for time as I stared at the she said, her voice smooth and sweet in the way it always became when she wanted something. "How are you? We have been so worried." "Have you?" "Of course. You are still my daughter, no matter what your father says." Then came the pause, carefully placed, strategic. "You know," she continued, "he has not formally changed the will yet. There is still time if you wanted to reconsider." "Reconsider my marriage?" "Reconsider your choices. You have made your point, Fiona. We all understand that you wanted independence, but surely by now you have realized that man cannot give you the life you deserve." I thought about James making me coffee every morning and remembering exactly how I liked it. I thought about the way he held me whenever another rejection email appeared. I thought about his steady belief in me when I had no belief left in myself. "I think he already has." My mother sighed. "You are breaking my heart, Fiona. Every day you stay with him is another day you are throwing away your future." The next public reminder came from Derek's Instagram. A photo from some rooftop party. My former friends. Champagne glasses, the Manhattan skyline glowing behind them. The caption read, "Some people choose love over luxury. Hope they are enjoying all that freedom." The comments were filled with laughing emojis and inside jokes I used to be part of. My mother had liked the post. James came home that evening and found me staring at the screen, tears running down my cheeks. He gently took the phone from my hands and looked at the post. For a moment, his jaw tightened. It was the first time I had seen real anger in his face. "They will rewrite this story soon," he said quietly. "I promise you." "How can you be so sure?" Instead of answering, he kissed my forehead. 4 months after the wedding, the letter arrived. Heavy cream paper, Ashford Properties letterhead, the law firm's seal pressed into gold at the top. "Dear Ms. Ashford Carter, this letter serves as formal notification that Richard Ashford has executed amendments to his last will and testament. Per these amendments, you have been permanently removed as a beneficiary. Your previous designation to receive 20% of Ashford Properties holdings, with an estimated current value of $200 million, has been reallocated. Additionally, trust account number 47891, established in your name, has been dissolved per trustee authority. These changes are final and irrevocable. Regards, $200 million, gone with a signature." I sat on our tiny balcony as the sun set over Brooklyn, watching the sky fade from gold to purple to black. For 28 years, that money had always existed in the background of my life. I had never truly wanted it, not really, but knowing it was there had been a safety net I did not even realize I was standing on. Now the net was gone, and I felt like I was falling. James found me there hours later, the letter crumpled in my hands, my face swollen from crying. "I saw the envelope," he said, sitting beside me. "I am sorry. I do not care about the money." I let out a bitter laugh. That is the strange part. I never cared about the money, but knowing he could erase me like that, as if I never existed. James was quiet for a long moment, then he said, "I have something to tell you." I turned to him. "Something I have been waiting for the right time to share." He took my hand. "But not yet. In 3 months there is an event. I need you to trust me until then." "What kind of event?" "The kind that will change everything." He looked directly into my eyes. "Can you wait that long?" I did not understand, but I trusted him. "Yes." The next day, I finally returned Margaret Smith's call. Her office was in a brownstone on the Upper West Side, quiet in the way old money always was. Mahogany bookshelves lined the walls, and the leather chairs looked like they had witnessed decades of private conversations. "Thank you for coming, Mrs. Carter," she said warmly, emphasizing my married name in a way that felt intentional. "Your grandmother would be very proud of you." Hearing Grandma Maggie's name made my throat tighten. She had passed away 2 years earlier, and she had been the only person in my family who ever truly saw me. "You said there was something about her estate," I said. Margaret nodded and slid a folder across her desk. "Before she passed, Margaret Thornton established a separate trust, completely independent of anything controlled by your father. She instructed me to tell you about it only after you married someone of your own choosing, without your father's approval." I stared at her. "What?" "She knew, Fiona. She knew exactly what kind of man your father could be, and she wanted to make sure you still had options." Margaret opened the folder. The trust contains $500,000 in diversified assets. It became yours the day you married James Carter. $500,000. My grandmother's final gift to me. Inside the folder was a letter written in her familiar, elegant handwriting. My darling Fiona, if you are reading this, it means you finally chose your own path. I am so proud of you. Your grandfather and I built our life on love, not money. We had nothing when we started and everything when we ended because we had each other. This money is not a fortune, but it is freedom. Use it to build the life you want. Never let anyone tell you what you are worth. All my love, Grandma Maggie. I cried in that office for 20 minutes, but for the first time in months, they were tears of hope. 5 months after my wedding, I launched Thornton Creative, named after my grandmother's maiden name. It was a deliberate choice. I was done building my life under the Ashford shadow. I rented a small office in a co-working space in Soho, designed my own logo, and reached out to every small business owner I had ever met who was not connected to my father's world. My first client was a coffee shop in Brooklyn, the same one where I had met James. They needed help with their social media presence, and I charged them half my usual rate just to build my portfolio. The second client was a vintage bookstore in the Village, then a family-owned restaurant in Queens, then a tech startup in Jersey City. Word began to spread, not through Manhattan's elite circles, not through family connections, but through the real New York, people who cared about results, not last names. Within 2 months, I had more clients than I could handle on my own. I was finally building something real, something that belonged to me. I am proud of you, James said one evening, watching me work on a campaign from our kitchen table. I could not have done it without Grandma's trust fund, I said, or without you believing in me when I could not believe in myself. He gave me that quiet smile of his. You would have found a way. That week, an email arrived that made me freeze. Subject, partnership inquiry from Nexus AI. Dear Ms. Thornton, Nexus AI Technologies is interested in discussing a potential marketing partnership with your firm. We have been impressed by your work with emerging businesses and believe your approach aligns with our brand values. Please contact us at your earliest convenience. Best regards, Nexus AI Marketing Division. I had never heard of Nexus AI before, but after looking them up, I learned they were one of the fastest growing tech companies in the country, which made it strange that they had found my tiny firm. Very strange. I did not connect the dots right away, but that month, the business news seemed obsessed with one story. Nexus AI Technologies was searching for real estate partners to build a massive data center on the East Coast. The deal was worth $50 million, and every major developer in New York was trying to win it, including, as it turned out, my father. Of course, Derek posted about it online, a photo of Richard shaking hands with someone at a business conference. The caption read, "Dad closing in on the biggest deal of the decade. Ashford Properties plus Nexus AI equals fire." I scrolled past it without thinking much of it. But a few days later, James came home with a curious look on his face. Did you see the news about Nexus AI? The data center deal? Yeah, everyone is talking about it. I looked up from my laptop. Why? No reason. But he was smiling. That small, private smile I still could not understand. It is just interesting that your father wants it so badly. Everything is a competition to him, I said. He probably does not even need the money. He just wants to win. James sat beside me on the couch. What would you say if I told you he is not going to win? I stared at him. How would you know that? Because I know who runs Nexus AI. Something cold moved through me. James. He took my hand. There is a gala next month. The Tech Charity Foundation event at the Met. Nexus AI is the main sponsor. He paused. And their CEO is making a rare public appearance. Okay. I want you to come with me. To a tech gala? I asked. James, I do not know anyone in that world. He lifted my hand and kissed it. You know me. The way he said it made my heart skip, as if those 3 words meant far more than I understood. What are you not telling me? Everything, he said softly. And soon, I promise. 2 weeks before the gala, James sat me down. It was Sunday morning. He had made pancakes again, our weekend tradition, and the apartment smelled like maple syrup and coffee. But his expression was serious in a way I had rarely seen. "I need to tell you something," he said, "and I need you to let me finish before you react." My stomach tightened. "Okay. The auto shop is real. I do own Carter's Custom Garage, and I do work on cars there whenever I can." He took a breath. "But that is not what I do for a living. It is a hobby, a way to stay grounded." "Stay grounded from what?" "From the other part of my life." He met my eyes. "I work in tech, Fiona. I am not just a mechanic. I am deeply involved in the industry." I stared at him. "What does deeply involved mean?" "It means I am not struggling financially, not even close." He ran a hand through his hair, nervous. And that was when I realized I had never really seen James nervous before. I hid the truth because I needed to know that someone could love me for who I am, not for what I have. "James, you are scaring me, just tell me." "Not yet, not completely. I want you to see it for yourself at the gala." Then he pulled something from his pocket, a thick envelope with elegant calligraphy across the front. "This is your invitation. VIP access." My guest. I took the envelope with unsteady hands. Inside was a heavy cream card with gold embossed lettering. "The Tech Charity Foundation cordially invites you to our annual gala. Guest of honor, James Carter. Guest of honor, James." My voice came out barely above a whisper. "Who are you?" He took my face in his hands, his eyes more vulnerable than I had ever seen them. "I am the man who loves you. Everything else is just entertainment." For 2 weeks before the gala, I felt like living inside a dream I could not quite wake up from. I searched for information about the CEO of Nexus AI over and over again. The results were frustratingly vague. The company was famous for its privacy. There were no clear photos of its leadership, no major public interviews, and barely any direct statements from the person behind it all. Just a reputation for brilliant innovation and a mysterious founder who avoided attention. 6 months earlier, Forbes had published an article calling him the billionaire nobody had seen, the phantom founder of Nexus AI. No name, no face, just speculation about a young tech genius who had built a $4 billion empire while staying almost completely invisible. I thought about James, the late-night phone calls about board meetings, the technical language I had overheard, the thick stacks of cash, the mysterious older man at our wedding, the one who had looked at James with something that felt very close to respect, or maybe even deference. The pieces had been there the entire time. I had just been standing too close to see the full picture. The night before the gala, James gave me a dress, a black Valentino. Elegant, simple, and probably worth more than our monthly rent. I did not ask how much it cost. I was beginning to understand that money was not something James worried about. It never had been. "Are you angry?" he asked quietly. "That you did not tell me sooner?" "Yes." I looked at him. My husband. The man I had married. The man I was only now beginning to truly understand. "I do not know what I am," I admitted. "You lied to me." I kept part of the truth back because I was trying to protect something important. "Is there really a difference?" He nodded. "Tomorrow, you will understand everything, and then you can decide how you feel." He kissed my forehead. "Whatever you decide, I will not blame you." I barely slept that night, because in just a few hours I was going to walk back into a world I thought I had left behind, and I was going to learn that my husband was not the struggling mechanic my father had looked down on. Not even close. He was something else entirely. The Metropolitan Museum of Art had been transformed. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling of the Great Hall like frozen bursts of light. 500 of the most powerful people in technology, finance, and media moved beneath Renaissance masterpieces, champagne glasses catching the glow from above. The women wore couture, the men carried influence like it was tailored into their suits, and everyone was watching us. I walked in on James's arm, wearing the black Valentino dress he had given me, suddenly feeling small among the sea of designer gowns. But James moved through the crowd like he belonged there. No hesitation, no uncertainty. He nodded to people, and they nodded back with a kind of respect I could not explain. "James Carter," a silver-haired man said, shaking his hand warmly. "Looking forward to the announcement." "Senator Mitchell," James replied. "Thank you for coming." Senator. James knew senators. We had barely reached the bar when I saw them. My father, my mother, and Derek stood near the auction displays, working the room with polished smiles. Richard's eyes kept scanning the crowd, searching for someone important. Then he saw me. His face shifted quickly. Confusion, recognition, then contempt. He started walking toward us, my mother rushing to keep up. "Fiona." He stopped a few feet away and looked at James with a cold smile. What a surprise. I did not realize they allowed staff into these events. James said nothing. He only watched him with that unsettling calm. "Do not tell me you came here uninvited," Richard continued, looking around as if he wanted an audience. "Security should really be more careful." "Mr. Ashford." A woman wearing a headset appeared beside him. "The CEO of Nexus AI will be speaking in 15 minutes. You requested a seat at the sponsor table." Yes, he said, waving her off, still smirking at James. "I have a very important meeting after his speech." If only he knew. The lights dimmed. A hush fell over the Great Hall as the massive screens came to life. The Nexus AI logo appeared first, a sleek silver N woven through a circuit pattern. Then came sweeping footage of their technology, self-driving systems, medical AI, climate modeling, advanced tools changing entire industries. "Ladies and gentlemen," the host announced, her voice echoing through the hall, "tonight marks a historic moment. For the first time ever, the founder and CEO of Nexus AI Technologies will address the public in person." Soft murmurs moved through the crowd. My father leaned forward in his seat and adjusted his tie. I saw him whisper something to my mother, probably already planning what he would say after the speech. "This company has revolutionized artificial intelligence across multiple sectors," the host continued. "Their innovations have changed how we live, work, and connect, and the mind behind it all has, until now, remained private." James squeezed my hand. "Are you ready?" "For what?" He smiled. Not his small private smile this time. This one was brighter. Freer. "For everything to change." The host's voice grew louder. "Please welcome the CEO and founder of Nexus AI Technologies, valued at $4.7 billion and named by Forbes as one of the most influential people in tech." James let go of my hand. "James Carter." The room erupted in applause. My father's champagne glass froze halfway to his lips. My mother's mouth fell open. And James, my James, the mechanic from Queens, the man my father had looked down on in front of everyone, walked onto that stage like he had always belonged there. The screens behind him lit up with his name, his face, and his title. James Carter, CEO and founder, Nexus AI Technologies. I looked at my father. His face had gone pale, completely pale, and for the first time in my life I saw Richard Ashford without a single word to say. James spoke for 20 minutes. He talked about innovation, responsibility, and the future of technology. He was brilliant, clear, passionate, magnetic in a way I had only ever seen in quiet, private moments. The audience listened to every word, but I barely heard any of it. I was too busy watching my father. Richard Ashford sat frozen in his seat, staring at the stage like reality had shifted in front of him. The color had drained from his face and had not returned. My mother kept touching his arm, whispering urgently, but he did not respond. Derek had stopped pretending to be bored. Now he was openly staring. When James finished, the standing ovation was thunderous. 500 of the most powerful people in America were on their feet, applauding the man my father had dismissed as a simple mechanic. James found my eyes in the crowd and smiled, just for me. The reception afterward was chaos. Everyone wanted to meet the mysterious CEO who had finally stepped into the spotlight. Investors, politicians, media executives. They surrounded him from every direction, but James had one destination first. He walked directly toward my father, who was still sitting as if he had forgotten how to stand. I followed him, my heart pounding. "Mr. Ashford," James said, his voice pleasant and professional. "I believe you wanted to discuss a business partnership." My father looked up. His mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. "You?" His voice sounded strained. "You are the CEO?" "Of the company you have been pursuing for 2 years," James said. Then he pulled out a business card. Simple, elegant, undeniable. James Carter, Nexus AI. "Perhaps you have heard of us." Richard's hand shook slightly as he took the card. Later, Forbes would confirm what everyone in that room was already calculating. James Carter was worth $4.7 billion. My husband was richer than my father, more than twice over. The mechanic was a billionaire. My father recovered faster than I expected. Within seconds, the shock disappeared behind his businessman's smile. The same smile he used when closing deals. The same smile he used when pretending to respect people he only found useful. "James," he said, standing and extending his hand as if they were old friends. "I had no idea. This is wonderful news. I always told Fiona she had excellent taste." The lie was so obvious I almost laughed. James did not take his hand. "You called me worthless, Mr. Ashford," he said, still perfectly calm. "You called me a burden. You said I had nothing to offer your daughter. That was..." Richard swallowed. "You have to understand, I did not know. Whether I fixed cars or ran companies, I was still the same person. The only thing that changed was your perception of my value." James finally reached for his hand, but not to shake it. He pressed his business card into my father's palm. "And that says more about you than it does about me." Around us, people were watching, listening, recording. My father's smile tightened. "Let us discuss this privately. The data center deal. I am sure we can find an arrangement that benefits everyone." "I have already made my decision about that." James's voice carried just far enough for the nearby crowd to hear. "Nexus AI will not be partnering with Ashford Properties." My father blinked. "What? Why?" "Because I do not do business with people who treat family like assets on a balance sheet." James stepped back and slid his arm around my waist. "Your daughter chose love over money. You tried to punish her for it. I do not reward that kind of behavior." The whispers spread through the room in seconds. By morning, the story would be on every major business page in the country. Richard Ashford had just lost the biggest deal of his career to his own son-in-law. Okay, I need to stop here for a second. Did any of you see that coming? Be honest. Type "shocked" in the comments if you did not expect it, or "called it" if you saw the twist coming. I want to know. And if you have ever had someone underestimate you because of how you looked, where you came from, or what they thought you had, then you are not alone. That is the lesson, isn't it? Never judge someone by the version of them you think you understand. Subscribe if you have not already, and turn on notifications, because what happened next is where the story gets even better. Now, back to it. The fallout was immediate. By midnight, the video from our wedding was everywhere. My father's entire speech. The moment he stood in front of everyone and looked down on James, the words he had used, the way he had tried to embarrass us. Someone had finally posted it online. And now, the world had context. The man Richard Ashford had dismissed in front of 300 guests was worth $4.7 billion. The headlines practically wrote themselves. Real estate tycoon mocks son-in-law at wedding, only to discover he is a tech billionaire. Ashford Properties. CEO learns an expensive lesson about judging people too quickly. The $50 million mistake. How one father's pride cost his company the deal of the decade. Within a week, two of my father's other business partners announced they were reviewing their agreements. One major investor stepped away from a development project, citing concerns about leadership and judgment. The comments online were relentless. Every business forum, every society blog, every corner of the internet seemed to be talking about Richard Ashford. But the most unexpected moment came from Derek, my brother. The same brother who had mocked me online. The same brother who had raised champagne glasses with my former friends while making jokes at my expense. He showed up at our apartment 3 days after the gala. He even rang the doorbell like a normal person. James opened the door, and Derek shifted awkwardly in our living room. "Look," Derek said, clearing his throat, "I wanted to apologize for the things I said. The Instagram posts. It was immature and You wanted to apologize," James said calmly, "or you wanted access." Derek's face changed. "Come on, man. We are family now. Think about the partnerships we could create. Ashford Properties and Nexus AI working together?" "The same Ashford Properties that cut my wife off?" James asked. Derek said nothing. The same family that turned their backs on her and mocked her for marrying me? James stood and opened the front door. You made your choice 6 months ago, Derek. We are not family. We are just people connected by the same name. The door closed. Derek left. Some people only apologize when they need something. James understood that better than anyone. My mother called 3 times before I finally answered. Fiona, darling. Her voice was full of tears. Whether they were real or carefully performed, I could no longer tell. You have to understand, she said. I always supported you. I wanted to speak up at the wedding, but your father, you know how he is. You did not say a word, Mom. I was afraid. You know what he can be like when he is angry. I had to protect myself. You had to protect yourself. I let the words sit between us. What about protecting me? Silence. I have something, I said quietly. Something Grandma's lawyer gave me. A message that was supposed to stay buried. I heard her sharp inhale. Grandma's lawyer found an email in the estate files, Mom. An email you sent to Dad 2 days before my wedding. I pulled up the screenshot on my phone. The one Margaret Smith had reluctantly shared when I asked about family communications around that time. You wrote, Richard is right. She needs to learn. Let her struggle for a few months without money. She will come back and marry Harrison like she should have. The silence lasted so long that I thought she had ended the call. That was taken out of context, she finally said. Was it? My voice was steady now. You did not defend me, Mom. You helped plan what happened. You stood there while Dad tried to shame me in front of everyone, and you were part of it the whole time. Fiona, I am not angry. And as I said it, I realized it was true. I am just done. Another silence. If you want to be part of my life, really part of it, you will have to earn that through actions, not words. What does that mean? It means I will call you when I am ready. Please do not call me again until then. I ended the call before she could respond. Some boundaries have to be built with silence. My father came alone. No driver, no entourage, no perfectly polished armor. Just a tired man in wrinkled clothes, standing in our Brooklyn doorway with something on his face I had never seen before. Humility. May I come in? I stepped aside. James stood near the window, watching quietly, but not interfering. My father looked around our modest apartment. The second-hand furniture, the small kitchen, the wedding photos on the wall, and for once, he did not seem to be calculating what any of it was worth. I lost 3 partnerships this week, he said quietly. The data center deal is gone. The board is discussing whether I should remain CEO of my own company. He let out a bitter laugh. Turns out public behavior has consequences. I am sorry about your business problems. No, you are not, he said, and you should not be. Then he finally met my eyes. I was wrong, Fiona, about James, about you, about what matters. I had waited my entire life to hear those words, but now that they were finally here, I only felt tired. I do not need your apology, Dad. Then what do you need? I thought about it, really thought about it. I need you to understand that I am happy, not because my husband turned out to be wealthy. I was happy before I knew that. I am happy because I am respected, supported, loved for who I am. I stepped closer. Can you understand that? Something shifted in his face. Maybe it was not full understanding. Maybe that would take time, but it was something. I am trying, he said. Then try harder. I placed my hand gently on his arm. I am willing to have you in my life, Dad, but not as someone who controls me. Not as someone who measures my worth by my husband's bank account. I took a breath. As my father. Just that. He nodded slowly. I do not know how to do that. Then learn. It was not forgiveness, not yet, but it was a beginning. 1 year after our wedding, Thornton Creative had 15 employees. My little marketing firm had grown into something real, not because of James's money, not because of his connections, but because of satisfied clients, quiet referrals, and a reputation I had built one project at a time. We had just signed our biggest contract yet, a year-long campaign for a Fortune 500 company that had found us through word of mouth. James still went to the garage on weekends. He said it kept him grounded. It reminded him of who he had been before the billions, before the boardrooms, before the world started attaching numbers to his name. Sometimes I went with him. I would hand him tools, ask too many questions, and slowly learn the names of engine parts while he smiled like teaching me was the best part of his day. My father was still learning too. Our relationship was not fully healed. Maybe it never would be. But he was trying. According to my mother, he had started therapy. He had asked me to coffee twice, and both times he asked real questions about my life instead of turning the conversation back to himself. It was not perfect, but it was progress. And sometimes, progress is the first honest step towards something better. That Christmas, we celebrated at James's mother's house in Connecticut. It was a cozy colonial home with a garden out back and real laughter filling every room. There were no designer decorations, no catered meals, no guests trying to impress each other, just family, real family. Any regrets? James asked, pulling me close as snow fell softly outside the window. I thought about the penthouse I had left behind, the trust fund that disappeared, the $200 million I would never receive. Then I thought about the company I had built with my own hands, the life I had chosen for myself, the man who loved me before I knew the truth about him, and my grandmother's words, "Never let anyone tell you what you are worth." I looked up at James and smiled. Not a single one. He kissed me, and outside the snow kept falling. Somewhere in Manhattan, my father was probably still counting everything he had lost, but I had stopped counting a long time ago. Because real wealth, I learned, is not measured by the number in a bank account. It is measured by the peace you feel when you find yourself trying to become the person everyone else expects you to be, and start becoming yourself. So if you take anything from my story, let it be this. First, never let anyone define your worth by money. Not strangers, not society, not even family, especially not family. Second, actions speak louder than promises. When people show you who they are, believe them. And when they suddenly change after discovering your value, pay attention. Third, real love does not ask you to shrink yourself. It does not control you. It does not make you feel small. Real love gives you space to grow into the person you were always meant to become. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this story meant something to you, hit the like button and subscribe. Turn on the bell so you never miss another story. And check the description for more stories like this, because some of the twists are even more unexpected than mine. Now tell me in the comments, do you think I should have